he falls asleep almost instantly, too. Oh, Fowler. I actually like Fowler.
Fowler gets to be a pretty fun character.
He's balanced, you know? He's grumpy like you would expect or need a government agent that is dealing with a bunch of alien robots to be, but he's also really chill and it's pretty cool.
He probably gets a lot of flack from the government place that he works for, and that's probably why he's pretty...
Yeah, because, like, also, like... who was it? Cliffjumper. Cliffjumper, like, literally transformed in front of 2 cops at one point. He says he did. So, like, you can see why keeping this a secret would be really frustrating for poor Fowler. So you can understand why he's grumpy sometimes. But he tries to keep it under control, and he's really nice. And he also, he's kind of broing it up with Optimus. Like, he and Optimus are sort of bros.
Yeah.
Because, like, they help each other out and stuff. Like, Optimus helps with Mech, and he helps with the Decepticons whenever he can. Which isn't very often, because he's a tiny, squishy human, but...
But, you know, he still tries.
Yeah. And, yeah. So, that's Agent Fowler. So, do we have anyone else to talk about aside from Nico? There aren't really many human characters in this one, which is fine with me.
They have, like, a few side little bits that Jack...
They have the random hot redheaded chick, which Jack has a crush on, and the bully guy, which Jack does not have a crush on. Who is also a redhead, but also interested in the redheaded chick.
Yeah.
And, yeah, those are just side characters. They don't really do much, except that the redheaded chick's, like, what she finds interesting is really confusing and mysterious.
She also kind of, like,
because they really
switches her personality.
Yeah, they really haven't decided her personality. So she's either incredibly sweet and kind, or she's, like, really snotty and, like, oh my god, you got, like, sometimes she's like, oh my god, you work at, like, Happy Burger. I hate Happy Burger. It's, like, such a terrible... And, like, another episode she'll be like, I love men who have pinkish motorcycles. They're so well adjusted to their masculinity. Oh my gosh, take me for a ride. I don't know, that whole thing is stupid and is probably going nowhere anyway, because I think they're going to end up romancing Miko. Although, I'd be fine. I think they should just stay bros. They're really not romancy at all, but...
They are.
I mean, let's face it, they've got 2 teenagers of approximately the same age that are opposite genders in the same area.
Jack is, like, the only person that calls Miko out on her shit.
Which is necessary for the survival of humanity. Alright, which brings us to Miko. Miko is...
Jack kind of, like, backs down after that.
Nope, Miko now.
Oh, no.
Miko. Why don't you start off with Miko?
Miko. I don't like Miko.
I don't mind Miko as much as she does.
I don't like Miko. Miko's annoying.
I think Miko's okay. I think the problem with Miko is that she is really meant for a different genre. She's the type of character that would work really well in a comedy or a light series, but this is not a light series or a comedy.
She's not funny. And she's really...
There was only one line of hers that I thought was kind of funny.
I didn't even think that one was that funny. It was kind of funny.
You didn't? You thought it was funny. You laughed. There's a line where she's trying to set up a band, right? And she's trying to figure out what the other people can do to help out the band. And Raph can, like, make music on his computer, dubstep and stuff. And then, like, he turns to Jack and is like, Jack, what can you do? Jack's like, I can't do anything. Or no, he's like, I can play the harmonica. And she's like, do I look like a country singer? Just paint yourself in blood and run around screaming. You'll be fine. I found that kind of funny. But other than that, no, she's not very funny. She's kind of random. And not random in a good way, like her, but random in a weird way. Like, there's one point where she just sort of randomly gets instantly jealous of Bulkhead and... Like, you know that episode where Bulkhead and RC get stuck together?
Mm-hmm.
Well, during that episode, she's just hanging out with the 2 of them, and then, like, she sees RC and Bulkhead fighting together, and she's like, wow, they go really good together. And then, like, 5 seconds later, she's, like, really jealous.
Yeah.
Like, which is weird, because Bulkhead's a giant robot, sweetie. You know, it's weird that you would be jealous of a possible romantic relationship of him and another girl. Weird. Because they actually get stuck together, and Ratchet's like, wait, so they're attracted to each other? And she's like, they're not attracted to each other, and Ratchet's just... I love Ratchet's response, though.
I did like that.
Anyway.
See, my biggest problem with Miko, though, is that she's constantly getting them into serious life-endangering situations.
That's all she ever does. That's her character.
And she never learns from it. And she never gets any flack for it. Except for once, where Jack, actually... starts an argument with her, and she's trying to argue back with him that, no, I'm fine and no other girl, you're just a spoil sport. Fuck the police, and they take all the fun.
Just a spoil sport when we're dealing with gigantic robots that murder us?
Raph starts crying because shit is starting to get serious, and then the fight just gets dropped and it never gets revisited.
I know. Why does Raph crying like instant? Surely Raph crying should have convinced her because she's putting a child in danger. Raph is a child. So for those of you who haven't seen the show, do see the show. But also,
it's actually very
don't listen to our bitching because we just like to bitch. But what happens a lot in virtually every episode is, okay, the bots are chilling out at the base with humans because the humans have to stay there every day after school because the Decepticons might kill them if they're somewhere else. So they're chilling out, and then suddenly, oh my god, mission time, and then all the bots are like, okay, let's go, and then Miko's like, I'm gonna follow you to the space bridge, and then Jack's like, no, and she's like, yes, and Jack's like, no, and she's like, yes, and then they run through the space bridge, and Jack runs after her, and Raph usually runs after Jack, because Miko decided to run through the space bridge, and 9 times out of 10, it'll involve a giant robot, and they will all almost get killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, there are episodes where that doesn't happen, where the reason they get involved in the danger is they're actually really needed, like the episode where Mech was trying to steal the thingy, the nondescript thingy.
I kind of got bored during that episode.
I thought it was okay. You didn't like it?
Part of that was because I was distracted.
Yeah. But anyway, and there are a few other episodes where they're actually needed, and that's why they get sent into the action. But a lot of the times, they'll get involved because Miko runs in like a madman.
It's not enough that Miko's getting herself in danger. She's getting the entire team in danger.
She's getting, because the bots are distracted because they're trying to help her. And the others follow her because they're trying to make sure she doesn't get killed. Like, a lot of the plots probably wouldn't happen if Miko wasn't an idiot. What pissed you off about how she was introduced?
It doesn't really piss me off, just kind of like, because it feels really fanficky about, oh, and by the way, this girl here, she's super cool, and she is Japanese, and, which really doesn't mind too much about it.
Oh my god, we can't have Japanese people in the United States.
No, but when she's standing there.
Bad.
Like,
ow, why do you hit me with jazz?
Because it was in my hand, sorry. And, like...
Beep, boop, that's mean, beep.
Sorry, B.
Never forgiven, beep.
And so she's randomly drawing RC and, like, got hearts around the motorcycle and, like, rainbows and stuff. And...
Which is how I draw random cars.
And then, like, she sees that RC and Raph ride off into, like, an alley.
Jack. It's Jack.
Jack.
Raph goes off with Bumblebee.
Yeah. Raph, like, immediately goes off with Bumblebee.
Raph is like, you and me best friends forever. And then Bumblebee's like, wee-boo.
So, Jack and RC have their conversation, and they turn around, and Miko just there, like, leaning over.
It seems slapdash. I would almost say that they originally only wanted Raph and Jack in the story, but then they decided to add Miko for plot convenience and to have a female.
I feel like she was introduced really poorly.
Because, I mean, they could have had her as part of the initial chase scene, or, like, chilling out in the same area as them when the Decepticons were running by, or something that made sense.
Introduced her later on.
Instead, she's just like, oh, wait, I followed you when you rode off on your motorcycle like a creeper.
Because I'm just special, and I followed you, and I saw you in there with your robot.
You got a robot.
I'm gonna ride with you and join you.
I mean, it would make more sense if, like, it would even make, they could have made it better if, like, they made Miko, like, one of Jack's friends beforehand. Yeah. So, like, Jack could have been, like, chilling out, and, like, you could have, like, heard him, like, ending a call with Miko. Alright, Miko, I'll see you later. And then, like, before he started, like, rubbing all up on RC in the first scene that he sees her in. And then later, like, Miko will be, like, drawing this thing and, like, see Jack drive off and be like, whoa, Jack is a motorcycle, I'm gonna go congratulate him, and, like, follow and then see the giant robot.
Yeah.
See, that could have been, it's an easy way to have it basically the same setup, but, yeah, I mean, especially since Jack and Miko instantly seem to know each other anyway.
And it seems to not particularly
which makes sense with it makes sense with Raph. Raph and Jack seem to know each other, but that's because I think they actually do know it. Like, I think they're kind of somewhat friends beforehand. At least Jack does know Raph's name.
Yeah.
Like, he knows who Raph is, like, entirely.
Like,
I think they live, like, in the same area. Or either that or Jack is just the type of kid who, if there was, like, a younger kid at your school, he'd befriend him. You know? That's just how Jack is. But they know each other somehow.
Another thing that annoys me about Miko is her backstory. This wouldn't annoy me if it wasn't for, like, how it's treated and how she, like, her actual character.
So Jack is like,
for this.
Jack leaves, and then Miko, like, comes and finds him, and, like, Jack is, like, chilling out in his garage doing stuff.
She
and
just
Miko's
shows
like,
up at his garage.
how? We don't know. I guess RC told her the address. But then she's like, you know, back home I have 2 cats named like Fifi and Mangmu or something like weird, and
I have perfect parents that care about
and
me.
I have parents that love me, and I used to take violin lessons, and I have a perfect,
every day,
beautiful life. And Jack sounds like, wow, that sounds really great.
And she's like, I hate it.
2 parents, as opposed to where I only have 1, Miko.
And I have no cats.
And I have no cats.
And I only know when I play the harmonica. And I don't have the money to be sent across sent halfway across the world.
Exchange programs, usually a part of it is paid by the program.
Oh.
But still, yeah. Still, you have to pay quite a bit of it in anyway.
Yeah.
Too, in most programs.
And freaking, like, and learn a different language and all this
stuff.
And
see the thing about that, the reason that Miko speaks so good English, I'm sorry, I know I'm interrupting you mid-rant, but the reason that Miko speaks such good English is that in Japan, they legitimately do start to learn English at a very young age. It's one of their required classes. So it makes sense. She speaks it a bit well, even for that, but, you know, whatever. Okay. Artistic license, suspension of disbelief.
Okay, that makes sense. Alright.
Yeah, so English is actually a required class for Japanese students. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
The thing is that she says that she's throwing all of that away so that she can be, like, this punk rock, dye my hair, whatever,
you know, it's
really
one
annoying
thing,
character.
it's one thing,
super reckless character.
Like she specifically said, it's boring, it wasn't me, like, it's one thing to, Miko is just, all her angst is white people problems. And I don't use that term lightly because I don't like that term. I don't like the idea that, it's white people, they have money, so the only problems they have are really banal, but you know what I mean. It's middle class. She had a good life, but she's like, but I'm bored.
You know who did this better?
It's so selfish. It's so ridiculous.
And like she's trying to convince.
She's like a really crappy Disney character. I want adventure in the great wide robot.
And like her reasoning for Jack coming back is because you're meant to be a freak. You're meant to be different. It's boring and stuff.
I bet that's probably true actually with Jack.
Yeah, but the thing is that
like, Jack's the most ordinary of them, really. I mean, he's just like a normal kid.
And what really annoys me about her backstory though is that I've seen this done well, and I've seen this done better.
Really?
Like,
by who?
You remember you played Persona 4 a while. Yosuke's thing, part of his was that he is incredibly bored by how.
Well, yeah, but that was his evil persona. Yeah. That wasn't the side of himself that he embraced.
That's treated as something, like, his hatred of how boring things are is treated as something that's negative. And it's not treated as something that is a positive character trait.
I wouldn't even say that it's that. I mean, if Miko was unhappy, Miko was unhappy.
Yeah.
But just the idea that that's something to angst over, having a house, a family, a bunch of cats. You know, especially when she's talking to Jack, whose father left. Like they
we
say
don't even know what happened.
No, they say at one point. Mrs. Darby says, "Ever since your father left us." Oh. So he's got a dad that basically ran out on them.
Yeah.
And he's got a mother that works late all the time. He has to work himself because I'm pretty sure there's not that much money in a one-mother household.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he doesn't have a crappy life, but he doesn't have the best life. And then Miko, with probably the life he's always dreamed of, is like, but it's boring and I don't like it. And there's no giant robots. And it's like, oh Miko, darling.
Miko, if you weren't so annoying and poorly written for that, it would work. But it just.
Miko might get better later on, but for now, she's just...
They've had 2 seasons, though, and I'm starting to run out of patience.
Starting to run out of patience for Miko! Kill her! Kill her! Although, if Miko died, that would actually be really tragic.